after October 2023, after April 2024, after every red line that was drawn, and then quietly erased, American officials, Israeli commanders, regional analysts, they all said the same thing. Iran had shown its hand. Iran had been embarrassed. Iran would not dare do this a second time at this scale. Iran did it anyway, and this time it was not a warning. This time, it was not a calibrated message designed to be intercepted and shot down over empty desert. This time, the numbers were different, the targets were different, and the calculation behind the attack was different in a way that changes every conversation happening in Washington, Tel Aviv, and Riyadh right now. Here's what actually happened. Not the version being released in official statements, but the version that emerges when you lay the military data next to the political claims and measure the gap between them. Iran launched a coordinated multi-vector strike on Israeli territory. Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, drones, not one category, all three, simultaneously, across multiple corridors. The attack was designed to overwhelm, not to penetrate one layer of defense, to stretch every layer at once from the Iron Dome at low altitude to Arrow 3 at the exoatmospheric ceiling, all firing at the same time, all burning through interceptors at the same time. Israel's air defense is the most tested layered system in the world. It has been operational, upgraded, and battle-hardened through years of conflict. The United States has poured billions into it. The technology is real. The capability is real. And some of the missiles got through. That sentence is the one that the official briefings are carefully avoiding. Not all, not most, but some. And in a conflict where the political narrative depends entirely on the idea that Iran's offensive capability has been degraded, contained, and suppressed, some getting through is not a minor footnote. It is the central fact. Because here is what Iran just proved with this attack. It proved that 18 months of sustained Israeli and American strikes on Iranian missile infrastructure, on launch sites, on production facilities, on the supply chains feeding Hezbollah and the Houthis, that all of that has not eliminated the threat. It has not even reduced the threat to a level where a major coordinated strike is no longer possible. Iran just ran a major coordinated strike. The question that every intelligence analyst is now working backward from is not, how did this happen? The question is, what did Iran learn from every previous exchange, and how did it apply those lessons here? Because this attack was not improvised. The timing was chosen. The mix of munitions was chosen. The corridors were chosen. Someone studied the intercept patterns from April 2024. Someone calculated which trajectories had the lowest historical intercept rates. Someone built a strike package around those calculations. That someone has been planning this for a long time. And that is where this story actually starts. Let's talk about what the numbers actually mean. Israel's defense establishment reported interception rates above 90%. That figure was repeated across every major Western outlet within hours of the attack. 90% sounds like victory. 90% sounds like the system worked. 90% is the number that gets quoted in the headline, and then the article moves on. Here is what 90% means when Iran launches at scale. If Iran fires 200 projectiles and 90% are intercepted, 20 get through. If Iran fires 300, that number becomes 30. At sufficient volume, a 90% success rate for the defender is still a significant strike for the attacker. Iran understands this math. Iran has understood this math since April 2024, when it launched over 300 drones and missiles in a single night and watched how the system responded. The volume question is not a side detail, it is the entire strategic logic of this attack. Each Iron Dome interceptor costs approximately $50,000. Each Arrow 2 interceptor costs between $1 million and $3 million. Each Arrow 3, the system designed for ballistic missiles at high altitude, costs over $2 million per interceptor. The Iranian drones being shot down cost between $20,000 and $50,000 each. The Iranian ballistic missiles cost somewhere between $500,000 and $3 million each, roughly the same as what is being used to intercept them. Iran is forcing Israel to spend dollar for dollar, interceptor for interceptor, in a war of attrition that heavily favors the side with lower production costs, simpler supply chains, and no dependency on American resupply agreements. That is the economic dimension of this attack. And nobody in the official briefings is talking about it. Now, the targets: Israeli officials confirmed strikes near military infrastructure in the northern and central regions. Damage assessments are still being completed. That phrase, still being completed, is doing significant work in those statements. It means the damage is real enough that they cannot yet frame it, minimize it, or explain it in a way that fits the current political narrative. What is confirmed is this: Iranian ballistic missiles reached Israeli territory. They were not all intercepted over Jordan or the Mediterranean. They arrived, some detonated, structural damage occurred. The Iron Dome did not catch everything. The last time this happened at this scale, April 2024, the Israeli response was a single carefully limited strike on an Iranian radar installation near Isfahan. A strike so small, so symbolic, that Iran initially denied it even happened. That response was designed to de-escalate. That response was shaped entirely by American pressure to keep the conflict from expanding. America is now in a different place than it was in April 2024. The restraint that shaped that response may not be available this time, because Israel is not in the same place it was in April 2024. And what Israel is now considering as a response is not a radar installation. It is something much harder to walk back from. Israel has three options on the table right now. The first is the April 2024 response. Symbolic, limited. A single strike on a non-critical target designed to satisfy the domestic audience without triggering a wider war. American officials are pushing for this. They were pushing for it within hours of the attack. The phone calls from Washington to Tel Aviv started before the last Iranian missile had even landed. Israel's war cabinet is not in the mood to take that call. The second option is a direct strike on Iranian military infrastructure, launch sites, air defense systems, Revolutionary Guard command facilities, targets that hurt operationally, not symbolically. This is the option that Israeli commanders have been building targeting packages for since October 2023. The intelligence is current. The strike plans are ready. The aircraft are ready. The problem with this option is what comes after it. Because Iran has already demonstrated tonight that it is willing to absorb Israeli and American strikes on its territory and still launch a major coordinated attack. A direct Israeli strike on Iranian military infrastructure does not end this cycle. It accelerates it. The third option is the one that nobody is saying out loud in official briefings, but everyone is calculating in private. A strike on Iran's remaining nuclear infrastructure, not the sites that were already hit. The site that was not hit, the mountain in the Zagros range that no conventional bomb can reach, the facility where 441 kilograms of near-weapons-grade uranium sits in canisters in a tunnel carved into solid granite at a depth that the GBU-57 cannot touch. Israel cannot reach that site with conventional weapons either, not alone, which means the third option is not really an Israeli option. It is an American decision, and an American decision of that magnitude, in an election-sensitive political environment with oil already above $100, with the Strait of Hormuz under pressure, with Saudi Arabia paying $400,000 per tanker to go around Africa. That decision does not get made quickly. It may not get made at all, and Iran knows this. That is the part of tonight as attack that will be studied for the next decade in every military staff college from Beijing to Brasilia. Iran did not launch this attack because it believed it could destroy Israel. Iran launched this attack because it understood exactly what Israel's response options are, exactly what American political constraints look like right now, and exactly how much room exists between those two realities. Iran fired into that room tonight. The missiles that got through were not a failure of Israeli defense. They were a message written in a language that does not require translation. It said, "We are still here. We can still reach you. And the thing you most want to destroy is in a mountain that your deepest bomb cannot touch. The attack is over. The message is not."